welcome everyone to Weekend Rental, episode 89. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. As always, my name is Ryan, and I'm joined by Andy.
Nate.
And Nate.
Feliz Navidad.
Very festive, very festive. If you enjoy our content, you can find a bunch of other great geeky-related content, podcasts, articles, and more over at geekade.com. What's your geek? It is almost that time, isn't it?
I was feeling festive.
I like
so
it.
I experienced some Taco John's today and enjoyed a nachos Navidad.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Yeah, you probably need to explain that to, listeners that are not from this area that don't have Taco John's.
I think they just need to close their eyes and picture.
Wait,
just
Taco John's isn't national?
No, I think it's
What?
Yeah, it's somewhat local.
Oh.
I've seen some in like Nebraska and stuff like that. Maybe it's Midwest.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Midwest.
Well, nachos Navidad or Navidad, as I would say, are nacho, like normal nacho chips with cheese and meat and all of that stuff. But the chips are green and red.
Yes.
Very
special.
festive.
And if in case that hasn't sold you on Taco John's, let me just explain to all you Taco Bell fans out there. It is the bland, flavorless competitor to Taco Bell. Don't go to Taco John's unless you have to.
But the closest one to my office.
Yes,
so.
but they're nachos. You can't screw up nachos. Those are good.
No.
And I like their taco salads because, it's actual meat. But there's just something about the horse paste that Taco Bell gives you in a taco that's just seasoned so perfectly. I just forget it's horse.
I guess since we're on the nacho kick here, we might as well just dive a little bit deeper. My wife and I went Christmas shopping last week, and we were at Costco. So naturally, right next to Costco is a Taco Bell. We're going to get some tacos.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't decide what we wanted, so I ordered their new nachos, and I think
the
they
double
messed.
box thing?
Yes. Except for I opened it up, and it's just chips with beans on it. So
is that the way it's supposed to be, or that's just how you got it?
I think they accidentally messed it up.
They're like, well, we got one of the ingredients. This is close enough.
Yeah. I mean, nachos, I feel like when you say nachos, that just implies that there's cheese on these chips at least.
Yeah.
But just a big pile of beans right in the middle. So I think someone was having an off day.
That Taco Bell, like I'm a person who eats lunch early because I like to have my whole afternoon open and like get crap done at work. I try to go to that Taco Bell probably once a week. And I leave at 11:30 and I get over there and like, no joke, it's like 12 cars deep. I cannot get food at that place. It's unbelievable.
Then you just drive around the corner to the Chinese restaurant.
And that's exactly what I did. I went to Mr. Wok and I got the 2 entree platter and I almost threw up for the amount of food they gave me. And it was great.
Yep. That's what I do. I check Taco Bell out, scope it out. Nope, the cars are too deep. It's time to go around the corner to Mr. Wok.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll have like a bit of like self-consciousness and be like, well, maybe I could eat a little better after Taco Bell doesn't work out. And then I'll go to the Jimmy John's next door.
Oh, yep.
I mean, not that calorie-wise it's really any better for you, but it makes me feel less guilty.
Bread and lettuce.
Yeah. Mayo, all the good stuff.
No nacho cheese there.
No nacho cheese on that.
I get
but
the
even that
drive through Diet Coke, so I'm eating good that day. Really watching.
But that drive through is busy all the time too. So,
yeah, I kind of come to the realization that like people stayed away from a lot of that stuff for a long time, but now like we're so far into COVID that everyone's just like, nope, drive through all the time. And I have had more than one lunch break in the last probably 3 weeks where I've driven to 2 places, seen the line, and just said, you know what, I'm just going to go home. I'm just going to drive home and find something because this is not worth the wait. And that's what I do.
Yep.
Which is fine. Let me save some money.
We've completely lowered our standards now to just how many cars are there. Nope. Moving on to the worst place in the world. No cars means I'm getting my food faster. I'm getting diarrhea faster. That's what I'm doing.
Usually it's Dairy Queen. I can go to the Dairy Queen near my office like pretty much any day of the week and I'm the only car there.
Really?
Yep. That sounds about right.
Dairy Queen's another one of those places too where I could just set my watch. I'm going to eat your burger and in exactly 2.5 hours I'm going to be shitting my guts out. Because I don't know what's in those like burgers from DQ or if it's how they cook them, but My stomach no likey.
A lot of
They
grease.
mix the ice cream in it
Well, I don't even get the ice cream.
because it's in the burger. You don't need to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Arctic version of the Juicy Lucy. They just like stuff it with soft serve and instead of
Right.
cheese.
Right. Exactly.
I like it.
Exactly.
Man,
My
could you imagine if
gosh.
you could pull off a hot burger with a frozen ice cream core? Like how that sounds
Gross.
That sounds like something I want to eat now.
It sounded like you were so excited about that, and then it came out of your mouth, and you're like, "No,
Ketchup
never
flavored
mind."
ice cream in between two
Gross.
steaming patties. It's gonna be great.
I thought we
We're a
were
video
a
game
gaming
podcast, right?
podcast.
Yeah.
We're a video game podcast, not a fast food.
Let's keep it off the rails. So I had a fun week so far. I get to work. I'd missed a call from my wife. It actually showed up on my phone. I've been getting a lot of these, like, I think everybody has these like spam, like we've got your social security number calls. So I just don't answer them. For whatever reason, her number didn't register. It just showed, her name didn't show up. It just registered the phone number. So I didn't answer. Anyway, find out later that day, my kid, the son, first grade, had gotten to school. He didn't want to go to school on Monday, was complaining about going to school before I dropped him off. So we dropped him off. And by 9:00, he came up with the brilliant idea to tell his teacher that he didn't feel good. They, of course, went through the COVID checklist with him. And he said yes to enough of the symptoms that they booted him out for 2 weeks.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh!
Right away. And then they're like, unless you can get a COVID test. I was like, that little son of a bitch. And he was just fine, of course. So then we
Right
spent
before Christmas break,
Right.
He's
it was
smart.
like the ultimate. Yeah. He literally would have had 4 weeks off. So then we're like,
So
damn
smart.
it, we're going to make him. I told my wife, I was like, no, he's getting a test, like as punishment. And I hope to God it's the one where they jam the thing up his nose. so he
Ram
learns
it in his
lesson.
nose.
It was not, but we got to spend Monday night at the pop-up, I don't know, COVID place over in Moorhead, which they conveniently put like right next to that, like, is it that Romkey Park where like everybody gets murdered? So good job on keeping it safe. That's great. But yeah, spit in a cup. Test results came back surprisingly overnight. And hey, what do you know? He doesn't have COVID.
And you threw him right back into school the next day.
Back today, he went back instantly.
Oh yeah.
The little bastard. I can appreciate a kid pulling the sick card. I just don't
He's
appreciate
smart.
it as much during COVID.
Oh.
He's an evil genius.
I would have loved that.
And fun fact, I had changed his switch timer because he complained about it from like the 2 hours. I had it timing out to 6, which is the max you can do and still keep a restriction. By the time I got home from work on Tuesday, so about 5:00, he had already reached his 6-hour max. So you can tell he was really sick with COVID that day.
Yeah.
And played a lot of games.
You're killing that parenting thing.
Yeah. Well, what do you do? My wife's at work. I'm at work. Have a switch. Go nuts.
Get after it.
It's better than watching TV, right? Because he's interacting with it. And he's becoming
true.
nearsighted.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Man, can you imagine having 4 weeks off doing that kind of number? Brilliant kid. You have a brilliant kid.
I have a turd.
No, brilliant kid.
It takes.
Speaking of turds, anybody played Cyberpunk?
No.
Nope.
I figured it'd be on Game Pass by now, but it's not.
I watched that. So I watched that original IGN review on the PC where they give it like a 9. And they're like, but it's worth noting the insane amount of bugs that this has in it. But despite that, they're like, we're going to give this a 9. And then I watched, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? They posted like the console version.
Oof.
And
Yeah.
it was like a 3-minute review and they gave it like, they just ripped it apart. I mean, it was so laughably bad watching stuff render in that like 3-minute review that I just don't even know how they felt like they could put that out.
Yeah, that's talk about a game that was like the most hype thing for years, and to bomb like that, and just I don't know. You have that many delays too, and it's like at one point,
Right.
if it's still not done, just delay it again. Who cares?
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where, I mean, the delay thing usually only goes one of two ways, right? Like either it still comes out a turd or they polished it and it's like the greatest thing ever. But I feel like the greatest thing ever scenario is seldom the case. I kind of just feel like maybe they paid way too much money for Keanu, and they're just like, no, we have to try to recoup something. And it's been selling surprisingly well.
Oh yeah, I mean, once you have that much, I'm sure like just the pre-orders itself probably paid for the development time for the whole game anyway. But
yeah, it's too bad. Sounds like it is a game not to play unless you can play it on PC.
Or I haven't seen anything on this until I mean, I've seen some of the commercials, but I haven't seen any gameplay yet. And so I'll have to jump in. Someone was complaining to me. They were like, man, I just want to play this game. I want it to drop on Game Pass. And then I heard it kind of crashed and burned. I was like, well, it won't take too much longer for that to jump on there. So
yeah, they've stated it's virtually unplayable on base PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones. Like if you have the X or the Pro, it's slightly better, but even then, like I said, it's pretty awful. I mean, they're talking like 10 frames a second in spots where there's really nothing to render even.
Jeez.
Oh no.
And then plus the whole character creation thing blew up because you can pick like 50 different kinds of pubic hair and how your dick looks. This is real stuff. Yes, genitals are there.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Even though it's a first person perspective game, like okay.
Well, even those were glitching out where the dick would like go through the pants, so just hang out the whole time.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I thought this was a Ryan joke for a moment, but you both were shaking your head like, no, this is a thing.
I mean,
how did I not hear about this?
I remember how bad people ripped apart Mass Effect Andromeda, and the stuff that was going on in that game when it launched seems like a drop in the bucket compared to what's happening on this console versions of this game.
At least the Mass Effect thing looked fixable. Like there was a lot of weird, goofy stuff, but that's fixable. Right. Like where this is like, there's so many problems on those base consoles. Like it's just like, well, how about you buy the new console then?
Yeah, I wonder
free
if
upgrade.
For. Some of the scripted stuff too. Like I've watched some of those clips where people go up to like an NPC. And then like the dialogue's happening, but it takes like 10 seconds for the textures to load in. So it looks like you're just staring at like somebody who's like not trying to reveal their identity in like a 60 minutes clip. Then all of a sudden just like pop, textures come in. It's just so bad. It's great though.
Wow.
So don't buy that, baby.
No.
That sounds not good.
I was certainly planning on it, but actually Game Pass is what steered me away.
Save the day, huh?
Yeah, this month they're killing it. They added Control and Dragon Quest, and there's something else. I forget what it was, but we've been playing that. And you played Control for a while, right? On the Switch?
Yeah, I played that Switch like virtual, like stream, and it played like remarkably well. I don't know if it's my type of game, but the atmosphere was really cool. Like, the tone of it.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's got good gameplay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm not sure if I'm into it as well. We'll see if I'll keep going on it, but it's creepy and I don't quite understand what's going on, but maybe that's the point.
Just that whole intro section kind of like put me off from it, where you're like, am I supposed to be afraid? And then like you just come around a corner and there's like a freaking weird janitor in like a dark room. He's like, oh, hey, here for the interview? I'm like, what is going on? That's weird.
Yeah. And the whole,
I don't know.
Yeah, that just like how everything, like that whole building like transforms and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah. It seems like one of those games that's really trying to tell a certain type of story, and I'm not sure I'm down with it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Inception. Like maybe I don't need this much of a like brain headache problem. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll probably keep playing it and see, but
the lighting effects are amazing. Even on the Switch, they looked great.
Yeah.
Like just the use of shadows and stuff in that opening section.
Yeah.
So which Dragon Quest are we talking? Like Builders or this 11?
11. Yep.
Okay.
So been trying that out. I really like those games, but at the same time, it's tough to be like, okay, I'm going to commit.
That's a couple 100 hours, right?
If you want to do everything, yeah. I'm guessing the story is probably 60, 70 hours, something like that.
Okay.
and that's still too much time, but I don't know. It's okay. It's a Dragon Quest game. There's nothing revolutionary in it, although it's kind of not. It's still turn-based, but you can still move around.
Okay.
So it's like you can move around until it's your turn.
Stuff, then?
No, not really. So it's just like you just like moving around, and it's like,
so you have like a dance party in between moves.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, did they just do this to, you know? That was always the criticism way back in the day. Is RPGs is like, you can't move around. You just got to sit there and wait for your turn. It's like, well, is this the thing now? They're rectified by not really changing it, but
so you can put a bullet point on the back of a box, like interactive fighting.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, maybe
Chinese fire drill during a battle is always cool.
Yeah, there might be some like strategy, like from getting in front of somebody compared to the side or something. I don't know, but
sure.
But yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, Game Pass lost a couple heavy hitters recently. Like, wasn't Doom Eternal on Game Pass too for a while?
I think it's still on there. Maybe not.
I couldn't find it.
It's still there.
Maybe it is on console, but it was on the PC one, I thought, for a bit, because I was looking forward to really pushing my computer to see how high end I could get it, but it was gone already. So it must just be console.
Yeah, that could be.
I haven't looked at that in a while. I should probably dust off Game Pass. You can tell
I've been pleased with it.
This my setup for podcasting is still here from the last time we recorded, so I've used my game room not at all in the last 2 weeks.
I completed my very first Super Nintendo game of the year, so you should be proud of that.
Just
there's only 2 weeks left. So I finally completed A Link to the Past, and it was a grind because no guides, Ryan. Thank you, no guides.
You're welcome. Well, you guided your way through a lot of it.
I guided my way through the beginning chunk of it. I had some time. I was sitting in bed and I was like, all right, I'm going to work on this. And so I jumped back into it and I was getting lost. I completed kind of the last dungeon before you go into Ganon's space, and Ganon's space is, I mean, it's a maze. You kind of have to go through, there's portals that will put you somewhere else, and there's different sequences that you have to do. And so that was very complicated. That would have been nice to have a guide, because it was a lot of trial and error. And then, I don't know, it was frustrating. But when you get to the point of Ganon, this is one thing that I absolutely appreciated, because as I was crawling through this dungeon, I'm losing all my magic. I'm losing all my hearts. I've used up my health containers, all of those things. And so I'm like, crap, I'm going to Ganon and I'm going to get spanked and I'm not going to have anything. They let you leave the dungeon to refill everything before you do the final battle. So I was thankful for that.
Nice.
But I guess I checked it off the list, and that was something.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It was a little, I don't know, anticlimactic at the end.
Yeah. If you've done everything right and you've gotten all like the powers and like those, I forget what those gem power thing, like, yeah, you're pretty beastly at that point. It's not as much of a cakewalk as like Breath of the Wild Ganon, though, where it's like, why did I do this? Like, we're afraid of this guy?
Yeah, especially
I thought he was difficult in Breath of the Wild, but maybe
really?
not.
I felt like he was such a breeze after doing the shrines. Or not the shrines.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really remember it. Not that I want to jump back in and throw another 100 in it.
I was going to say, haven't you gone through it like 3 times?
Yeah, I don't remember if it was difficult or not at the end.
I bet you breezed through it.
Maybe. I just remember the riding the pony at the end and shooting arrows at.
That was really dumb.
That was not a way to end the game, but it was something.
So you were playing it on your Switch then, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see
on
that they're
the
coming out
Super
with
Nintendo
some
thing?
really good additions, like very soon here? I don't know when it drops, if it's December or January. Like we're getting Donkey Kong Country 3. We're getting like a couple
I thought you
RPGs.
said good.
Yeah. Hey, it's still a good game. It's the worst Donkey Kong Country, but and then we're getting like Tough Enough, which is maybe not the best, but there was a few gems in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a decent amount to play on both the NES and the Super Nintendo apps on that. So I'll probably jump into another one, maybe, Super Metroid or something like that. And we'll see if I feel ambitious. But I know I only got one Super Nintendo game in me a year, and this is that was the one this time. So I think every time I scroll through the Super Nintendo games, I see Stunt Racer FX?
Stunt Race FX. Get it right.
Stunt Race FX. All I do is think of you and how great this game is.
It's awesome.
Race FX. So
it's completely. Everyone
I'm surprised
forgot about
it's
that
still
game.
up there.
I was glad Nintendo finally existed, that they made, or finally acknowledged that they made that game again. I wish they would have taken the FX stuff though, especially that game, and like actually taken the horsepower to up the frame rate in that. Because you can actually do mods. Like there's a guy on YouTube who was doing it, and he would take FX games and he would put like a bigger RAM or whatever chip on it, and it would like increase the frame rate like substantially. The only reason it was as crappy as it was is because of what they put in there at the time. Like, yeah, that game hauls ass if you put a little bit of modern technology into it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We played
but
that.
Then it's not the same game, right? But
yeah,
still.
Yeah, when that first launched on Switch there, we played that multiplayer, and it was like, that was probably the slowest frame rate I've ever seen in a video game. Mm-hmm. It is unreal.
But then your brain adapts to it, and like you're figuring it out. Like it's really good.
It's like chess. You have to think 3 frames ahead.
Right. And then after you've beaten the game and you unlock the motorcycle that just screams like 10 frames per second, maybe like that, like figuring out when to lay off the gas is incredible. Yeah. I love that game so much. I played so much of that, like the challenge modes, and it's so good. $20 at Fleet Farm, baby.
Wow.
There's days I feel that so Fleet Farm, people that are listening to this that have no idea what a Fleet Farm is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a fleet of farm Walmart stuff.
Yes.
It's kind of like the redneck Walmart. You can buy literally everything there. Back in the day, probably early 2000s, late 90s, they would have some video games in there. And every once in a while, I'll go to the back furthest corner where it says clearance and just hope that I find.
Yeah.
Because they just pile that stuff in there, just that I'll find something like an old Nintendo game just buried somewhere in the clearance section someday.
You missed when they did their purge then, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I went in there and just bought bags of games for $1, like just on
like Wii,
all horse shit. Yeah, Wii 3D or Wii DS, PS3. Like it was all the crap that they just hung up. I got like a 3-pack PS2 games. Why they still had them in like 2015, I don't know. But yeah, it was great.
I think that's pointless. The last games that I saw there maybe were Nintendo Wii, maybe, and it was like the fishing stuff.
Yeah,
and
they haven't had them for a while now.
They didn't get past 360 and PS3. That was as far as they went.
No.
And then for years they would have all those like turkey shoot games on PC.
Yep.
Like I don't think anybody ever bought one because that stock stayed there forever. Yeah. And for some reason, like they're the only business that still like wholeheartedly supports salted nut rolls. Like every checkout has like 8 boxes of salted nut rolls. Like this is, and I love salted nut rolls, but like where else in the world do you walk into? Like I can't think of a gas station I can find a salted nut roll in anymore. Like it's like grandma's candy.
Yep.
But Fleet Farm's like, yeah, we got that. We got Circus Peanuts. Werther's Originals. Damn right. You know, they're just all the old people stuff.
I love that.
Though.
So I wanted to go back for a moment
Back to the Past.
And Back to the Past, where we were talking about. No, we were talking about your son and how he skipped school, sick in quotation marks, to play the Nintendo Switch. And I thought this was an interesting question. And one moment came to mind. So the question is, what was the last game that you skipped school, quotes, being sick, to play? I clearly remember, this is so terrible, Nintendo 64. That's terrible to begin with. Nagano Olympics.
Nice.
No, it's not. I was a speed skating demon, but I got out of school to play Nagano Olympics 90. What was it, 98 or 99? 98. I don't remember, but not a proud moment. I did skip work to play Breath of the Wild and stuff like that, but school was Nagano. What was yours?
Mine was definitely.
Are you muted, Andy? I can't hear you. On Google, I think you're muted.
There we go. Yeah, I think the last time I remember, it was Dragon Quest VIII on PS2. I definitely.
Nice.
Did your parents buy in on that? They're like, I'm not feeling good, and then you just go run to the basement and sit on the couch with your.
Yeah, it was not really. I don't think they believe me. If there's ever a time that I needed to miss 14 days of school in a row to play a game, it was for Dragon Quest VIII. But I didn't have that option back then.
Nice. I never did that.
What?
I had a lot of anxiety when I was a kid, so like the thought of like missing school and like having to make up the homework would often like make me feel more sick than I would have been otherwise. So I just didn't do that. I don't know. Weird.
You just brought this whole podcast down.
I would not go for. Halo. I bought Halo on an Xbox, and I didn't leave my dorm room for 4 days until we beat that campaign. But yeah, in grade school, even high school, I never tried it. I would have felt like too anxious, weirdo.
When I was in college, my roommate had, I think was it the PS2 that was like small, the slim, and was silver, maybe. And it was, I'm trying to think of the game that he would always play. It might have been like a Lord of the Rings game of some sort. So we were required to have students shadow college students in some of the education programs. And so we were just supposed to give them a college experience and take them to our classes and things like that. Well, I remember like taking a break, and I had to run to the dorm room really quick. And he was in there with his student, like the high school student, and they were just playing games. And I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure you guys are supposed to be somewhere. And he was like, no, we've skipped everything. And the kid's like, if this is what college is like, I can't wait. And we're like, yeah, there was a speech in the class afterwards of how irresponsible everybody was, because he wasn't the only one that was doing that.
I can imagine. Yeah. That's awesome.
You know, that kid remembered it for the rest of his life.
Yeah. And he failed out of college.
And he's in jail now.
I remember playing one time Civilization 2, I think it was, maybe 3.
Civilization?
Yeah, on PC. So long that I was up. I didn't even know what time it was. I was up so late that I heard my parents get up for the morning. So I like quick scrambled to bed, and they heard me, and then they're like, you were playing that game that whole time? And they're like, I still went to school.
It, though. Like with those games, like that happens, like that, like
mindlessly clicking.
Well, even like Civ 5 Civ Revelations or whatever. It was on like last gen or consoles.
Yeah.
Well, last gen now. Like I remember playing that. Like that was like a free games for gold or something. and this was like 4 years ago, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do like one game." It's like 11 o'clock, and I seriously would look over to be like 4 a.m. I'm like, "Oh shit, I ate the bed. I gotta work." Like I don't know what it is with those games, but they just time disappears.
Yep,
it's awesome. Did they make you go to school then?
Yeah, definitely had to go.
Oh, brutal.
It sucks.
It was probably like high school at that point. So it was like kind of staying up late anyway. But
yeah, unless you're me and weird again, and then you have like a lot of anxiety. So then you'd go to bed at like 10:30 or 11. And then if you couldn't fall asleep fast enough, then my anxiety would double. And then I'd really not get to sleep. It was bad. Should have learned to cool down, like chill out when I was a kid.
See, I had like the anxiety of the kind of the same thing, so I would do the work ahead of time. Like I would learn the pattern of what they were assigning, so I would keep working ahead and do all that. But nice. Once or twice a year, they'd be like, "You know what? Let's change it up a little bit," and fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like I just distinctly remember like realizing like how like weird I was about that one time when I was just like out skateboarding, and it was like 8:30. Like spring, like so finals were coming up, and I'm like a senior in high school, and the people I'm skateboarding with, the one I'm like, I gotta go, man, like I gotta study for my finals. And he's like, yeah, but like I'm not studying and you're a senior, like what's this gonna matter? I was like, I gotta do it. I was so, I don't know why. And then like I just always remembered that. So by the time I got to college, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna chill out and be more like this dude. And I just sucked for a couple of years at being a student. After my freshman year, I killed it.
Proud of you, man.
Drank a lot after that. Wasn't as good.
I'm not so proud of you anymore.
Once I lived off campus, the beer was a problem.
But you had to pay for your ice cream.
Well, I mean, technically, with what those frickin' meal plans were costing me,
I guess.
Should have been able to like bathe in ice cream. Frickin', what a joke!
It's true.
Ugh. It's bad. Who needs ice cream when you have like crates of ramen anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need.
You could make furniture out of ramen too.
Oh, like a wicker thing?
Yeah,
I like it.
Just pray it doesn't rain. Sitting outside.
Quick, get the packets. We gotta get this.
Get the doggy pool. We need a big bowl of ramen.
Did you guys see that news on, I don't know if it's news, I just caught it yesterday, where Neo Geo's teasing again, like a new Neo Geo console in 2021. And I'm like, what is their definition of a console? Because so far in the last 3 years or 4 years, we've gotten the mini. Well, we got the X. If you're going to start there, you get the X, you get the mini, you get the full-size arcade, you get the fight stick. So is this actually a console?
Playing the same stuff.
Yeah, or is this just them taking the same 40 frickin' ROMs and jamming them in like a Teddy Ruxpin with a controller coming out of it? I mean, I don't know what to expect anymore.
Well, they just sold recently, right?
Did they?
I'm pretty sure, because it was a Chinese company that owned them, and then they just paraded everything out. And now the Chinese company's probably like, well, we sucked this IP dry, so here you go. And I think they sold it to somebody in like the Middle East or something like that.
Oh, God. Okay, so we should probably not hold any hope for this being anything better than what we've already gotten.
Yeah, probably not.
Dang it.
Neo Geo, come on.
I know. Used to be.
Wouldn't that
so
be
great.
cool if they were relevant again? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, they've just they really found a way to just whore out everything that made them special. I mean, it used to be really difficult to like find people who appreciated Neo Geo games or had like any like hands-on with them outside of like, the Fatal Furies or Metal Slug. And now I feel like the last 7 years, especially. I mean, it started with the Wii and the PS2, but yeah, it's not good.
Yeah,
not good at all.
I mean, they still do Samurai Showdown and King of Fighters occasionally, but outside of that, doesn't seem like they're really doing much for new games.
No. Yeah, that's crazy. Forgot about that Samurai Showdown collection, which again launched for free on Epic Game Store. Brand new game free. It's like, okay, I'll download it. I'm not gonna play it, but yeah. I don't know. What do you got here about Perfect Dark? Is it Perfect Dark / Mass Effect or
no? During the Game Awards.
Oh, that happened already?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Jeff Keighley?
Yep.
Oh, Bick Man?
Yep. Not
Green
there.
Day?
Not that guy. No, not there.
Oh, okay.
It was Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder in his house sang a song.
What?
Yeah. Because
Really?
apparently
Okay.
he did a song for Last of Us or something, I think.
That sounds so confusing.
Yeah, Eddie Vedder and Last of Us doesn't really register tonally in my head, but
And I feel like that was a name you just like pulled out of the musician catalog. Eddie Vedder. Okay.
But anyway, what happened with these at the Game Awards?
Well, first of all, they announced a new Smash character,
Oh,
which was Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, and it's like, well, that just seems like a lazy choice, but
yeah.
maybe
Let's
that's
get
just
another
me.
sword fighter, please.
Yeah, the longest
Really?
sword fighter.
That sucks. Like, I'm so pissed that I bought that pack. They've brought over nobody good. Because how many are left now? Two more fighters, and we're done.
Is this the third one? Because it's been the ARMS,
Or yeah, you're right. ARMS.
Minecraft. Did it go right to Minecraft?
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds right.
And I guess this guy. So yeah, two
So
more
those are
after this.
Oh, gosh, pisses me off.
Who are the last two?
Well, there's got to be a Fire Emblem character in there somewhere,
No,
right?
there doesn't. There doesn't need to be one.
No, definitely not.
I don't know.
That was just bummed. You know, you have how many Final Fantasies, and that you pick two characters from the same exact game.
I think what they're gonna do is it'll just the last two. My prediction is it'll just be a donkey and an elephant, and that's how we're gonna decide our next election. It'll be a Smash tournament.
That'd actually be really funny.
It'd be about the same at this point.
Right.
Yeah. I don't like, I'm honestly just like, I don't even want to hypothesize as to what it could be because I've just been so disappointed with what they've actually been doing that I just kind of don't care anymore.
I'd like to just see the NES Zapper all by itself.
Yeah. It's an interesting
and
choice.
Just the NES Zapper and then a boxed amiibo. Not out of the box, but the boxed amiibo.
Dude, what if it was Nestor? Like, what if they brought Nestor out? That'd be pretty cool, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that'd be
You could
awesome.
have the bowling ball from like Funky Bowling.
Yeah.
Pay tribute to Nintendo Power. He's
Captain
probably-
N.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be sweet.
That would be cool. Yeah.
It's the car from Stunt Race.
I don't think it's going to get an opportunity.
Isn't there a Virtua Fighter where you can play as the car from Daytona?
Yeah, there's one of those.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Mega
Sega
Mix,
can do
yeah.
it, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know.
I mean, what other games are they like even? I mean, they cover a lot of games. What would be?
Well, and the thing
It'd
is,
be
like,
tough
who
to
they
know.
partnered with that's been notable lately, and I feel like we're probably not getting more from Microsoft. Minecraft and Banjo-Kazooie were,
Enough.
yeah, too much if you ask some. But
And then,
Pretty
you know,
cool. Yeah, go ahead.
all those, you know, all the second tier characters are like the Mii costumes and all that junk too. So it's
Yeah.
like they
Yeah, that's true.
can't go any lower than that either. So
I mean, there's still like, I suppose there's still like the Sega and Atlas angle where maybe they could find something cool in those libraries, but I don't know. Probably not.
Just Shakira, Miyamoto, and Reggie. There you go.
That would work.
Yeah.
Or Doug Bowser.
Or just genitals. Like, let's just partner with CD Projekt Red, and it'll just be genitals fighting.
The genital joust thing.
Oh,
my gosh, that's
yeah.
so gross.
Yeah.
I don't want to see their special stage.
So I
Gross.
completely miss, like, that's how out of it I am. Like, I completely missed that the Game Awards happened or that they were coming up. So what won? I mean, was there a bunch of bullshit like there was last year? I mean, was it stuff that shouldn't have been winning? What was Game of the Year, for example?
Last of Us 2 won Game of the Year.
Not shocking.
Kind of figured.
Which is just like the most expensive game won, pretty much. I don't know. It's kind of a down year, but last year of a console, there's not.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there's no audience, right? Like this wasn't in a stadium, so it was all virtual. That changes it.
Yeah. Like all the nominees were just in front of their webcams and shit like that. And I think like Among Us won like 3 awards, and it's like, okay.
The game that found fame through a free game on PS4. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that it's not fun. I shouldn't shit on it. It's a cool concept.
Yeah.
And coming to Switch now for $5.
Yep.
You guys gotta watch. You guys watch Neebs Gaming at all? So they started a new series where it's Among Us, but then they animate all the deliberation table sequences. So it'll just be like these over exaggerated like cartoons, like, no, that fucker over there, and they're just screaming at each other. It's so great. It's good stuff. 5 friends playing a game like that is just comedy gold.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Among Us is. I know my kids talk a lot about it.
Yeah, my kids play it.
Game. Like they do it at school or play that game at school for something. I don't know.
It's free on mobile devices, $5 on Steam. So it's like 5. It's like a, I don't know, like
Werewolf, all those games.
Game. Yeah. 5 people in a spaceship. One of them's the murderer. Everybody's walking around doing stuff, and you gotta report dead bodies and deliberate as to who did what, or call secret meetings, and it's you against the bad guy. But yeah, Werewolf is a great example. Like same concept.
Okay.
It looks neat. I think it would be really fun if you had a set group of people and you knew everybody. I think it's less fun maybe in random situations, but
yeah, definitely. Like
I should have muted that.
Lying to random people just doesn't seem like it would work that great for a game.
Right.
But
yeah, because you want to be able to learn everyone's tells, like the shit they say, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, the Game Awards was not half the time. Like I think in the pre-show they did most of the awards, and then it was like during the regular show they were just doing trailers and shit like that. But
so they did a ton of like forced like trailers and announcements, and exclusive this and exclusive that.
Yeah, it was mostly like indie games, and it's tough to tell sometimes on those that it's like, is this going to be a really good game, big game, or is it going to be just something that ended up on, I don't know, Game Pass or something quick.
Had to be better than last year where they're like, here's 850 Magic the Gathering games. Get excited.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I'm like, no one gives a shit. We know these are all going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did announce a new Perfect Dark is coming.
Okay. 2.
Which
exclusive to Xbox?
Yeah, I would imagine. And but it was just like a video. Like, so they have nothing done on it, I'm sure. Who knows when that'll be out?
Well, it's rare, so yeah, it'll be like 7 years.
It's not even rare this time. I think they have they have a different team working on it.
It's probably a good choice.
Yeah. And they ended the show with Mass Effect. They're saying, oh, we're making another Mass Effect. And it's like, what the hell? Like, you don't even have Dragon Age done yet. You're not even showing gameplay of Dragon Age. When is that going to happen? It feels like when they did Elder Scrolls 6 announcement, that was like 2 years ago. It's like, when is that? That game's going to be another 10 years before that game comes out.
Yeah, it was forever ago, it felt like. Yeah, that's weird. It's weird that I missed that. Like, I've been so into watching those for the cringe factor. Jeff Keighley didn't do any like sob speeches about Kojima being locked up in a sweatshop or anything this year. Nothing
I don't
memorable.
even think he mentioned his name. It was weird.
Gosh. Did that win anything? Death Stranding? Or was that the year before that came out?
Yeah, that was last year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cyberpunk didn't win anything?
I don't know if it qualified for how late it was.
What was like the best? Obviously, like the number one family game was a Nintendo game, but what was the? You remember?
I think it was Animal Crossing, which seems like it's. I don't know.
It's pretty big. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know, but how does Animal Crossing keep winning? It's the same exact game. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, how did Animal Crossing get so big? You would think that. I guess it's just new people getting into it, but I don't know. Every time I've played a new one, it's just like I've played it less and less each time.
I've never kind of understood the appeal myself. Not that I've sunk any significant amount of time into any version I've ever played, but jeez, sounds like I heard elephants running around my house right now. I think it's just one kid though. The COVID one. He's got a lot of energy. Yeah.
He's well rested.
I suppose this one sold like gangbusters though, just due to like, well, the portability is perfect. And then, you know, how many Switch units are out there.
Yeah. Yeah. To some extent that's good, but at the same time, like during the lockdown, you kind of want a game that you can really dig into and play. And I feel like Animal Crossing is like the, you know, when you're on the bus or something where you have like 10 minutes to do the day. You can't really sit down and do an hour or two in Animal Crossing, but
yeah,
you could. Yeah.
Some people do.
Yeah.
Upload. Did we talk about that?
Oh, that's TV show on Amazon.
Okay.
It's by the people that did The Office, Parks Rec. So this was like their next thing. And it's about this time period where in the future, obviously, that when you die, you can like upload your brain into the cloud and have like an afterlife and be able to talk to living people on the phone and shit like that. So like your consciousness in a computer. But I was really interested because obviously Office and Parks and Rec are really good. It seemed like the same type of thing, but I don't know. It was okay, but it's a lot more of a show about like a girl falling in love with somebody dead. Weird stuff like that, but
strange.
It happens.
Yeah.
I watched, I got that Netflix, not Netflix, Roku, Redbox app on my Roku. This movie, which would have been like a B tier movie had it hit theaters during a normal time, came to that. So there's this movie called Love and Monsters from this year. And it's like perfect for the type of crap I like to watch. It was a great movie. It's like basically it starts out, it's like an apocalypse movie with some love in it and some monsters. Basically, teenage high school kid making out with his girlfriend, and then monsters start wrecking stuff. So basically what happened was like a giant asteroid was going to murder the planet, and then the planet collectively shot all their rockets to blow asteroid up, and everyone was happy. And then like the chemicals falling to the earth from said victory basically caused every insect and amphibian to mutate horribly. So it's like giant killer ants and everything. Basically, the whole Earth gets
they
wiped
screwed
out.
Themselves.
Right. So like, yeah, it's the whole setup. It's like it's a perfect setup too, because it's like 10-minute explanation. Like, you know, you're 10 minutes into the movie and they've explained that 99% of the human race is gone. That 7 years later, everyone's just living in bunkers. Well, and then anyway, you can kind of piece together the loose plot. The kid via radio finds the chick that he was dating when it all went down, and he decided, and he's like a pussy. And the people that he, like his group that he survived with, all know he's a pussy. And he's like, no, I'm going to go meet this girl. And they're like, dude, that's like 80 miles outside. Like, you're dead. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it. And then that's the movie. And it's good. It's really entertaining. Highly recommend it. If you like really dumb movies like that.
Yes.
It's well acted. The CG is not atrocious. I mean, they clearly had somewhat of a budget. It will probably be one of those movies that lives on in cult status, but not a lot of people will have seen because COVID.
Yeah.
I liked it though. It was really good.
You think it would have made it to theaters?
Yeah.
Or was it
Yeah, I think it was like that right B tier. Like, I think it would have done good fall, like after the blockbusters had their bet. Well, that's the thing though, I guess. Like, had the line of blockbusters also hit, this probably would have. Yeah, maybe it's one of those movies that still would have made its recovery on sales after the fact and stuff, but I don't know. I liked it. It was a very Ryan movie. Love and Monsters, everybody. Watch it.
Love and Monsters.
There's a dog in it, too. People like dogs.
Nobody likes dogs.
Damn it.
That's not even true.
Nobody likes cats. That's a fact. I have two
You
of
do?
them. I have two of them, and they're both assholes.
Yeah.
Is it time to talk about the holidays? Christmas theme this thing? I mean, we started out fast food, COVID, some stuff about games. We might as well get into the Christmas spirit.
Jingle bells. I don't know. Feliz Navidad nachos.
There we go. Bring it all back. It's the holiday season. So this episode, we're recording this in the middle of the month. I think it's the 16th right now. You'll be hearing this just before Christmas. My math is right. Or after. Wait.
No, day after. No.
Hold
on Christmas Day is Saturday. Christmas Eve is Friday? Or no, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, day after Christmas.
Yeah, day after Christmas.
26th.
So hang on to that Christmas spirit, because we're going to carry
12 days of Christmas start on Christmas Day. So you got 12 days. Is
that true?
That is very true.
It was the 12 days leading up to Christmas.
Nope, 12 days start on Christmas Day.
I don't know if I believe this.
Well,
why would you do that?
Sorry.
It's already over.
No, it's a church season.
It should culminate with Christmas Day.
Oh, that's the start.
Who really wants maids of milk in, though?
Me.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. What do we talk about? Christmas memories? Memories, since we're milking. I don't know. Why don't we maybe first console gotten at Christmas? Everybody remember? I can go mine. It was probably 4 years after I asked for an NES. I got the Game Boy.
That was your first system?
Yeah, it was my first system at Christmas. I was like, the NES was dead, Super Nintendo was out, Game Boy had been out forever, but it was awesome. Played a whole lot of Tetris.
And it was cheaper, probably.
Yeah, that's probably what the contributing factor was. Yeah, my parents had like this. I mean, Santa had this weird thing when I was a kid where I would ask for certain things and never get them in the year that I asked for them. But sometimes, usually 2 to 3 years after I'd asked for said thing, I would get it from Santa. So,
and you forgot you were even interested in it at the time.
Like I remember the time I got air like table hockey, like the bubble. Like I must have asked for that when I was like 5. I bet I got that when I was 12. Like that's not an exaggeration. Like that's how far past I was wanting that I. Thanks, Santa. Anyway. Game Boy was mine. How about you guys?
Was there disappointment when you opened it up? Or were you like, oh, this is sweet?
I mean, for the Game Boy?
Yeah.
Or yes, a ton. Yeah, because at that point I was still... I think I might have still just been Atari. Maybe we had a Super Nintendo. No, we had a Super Nintendo. Yeah, because I got the Game Boy way, way late. So yeah, I had
So what year would have this been?
Boy, I would have probably been 5th grade.
5th grade.
So whatever the math is on
was
that.
This before the Pocket? Still the old one?
Yeah. Yeah, I got this, I would say about 9 months before the color line came in. I don't mean Game Boy Color. I mean when they started coloring Game Boys, like that was like kind of the stopgap when nobody was buying them anymore. So that's how late into the whole thing it was. Still great. Still a great console.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wasn't on my radar.
Call it a console,
I've never
though?
asked for it. What?
Can you call it a console?
I mean, I'll call it a system. We'll go with system.
All right. I like that.
I was super excited about it. I played a ton of that. And I think Tetris was my only game for like 4 months, and it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the year was 1989 for me. I remember that Christmas. I was 4. And I got an NES. And I loved it. And that was my first system. Got Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt with it. Also got Sky Shark and Operation Wolf. And maybe Zelda? I don't remember. So, I mean, obviously 4 years in, those games are probably considerably cheaper. Or maybe. And yeah, that was a highlight of a Christmas. My mom has photos somewhere. We haven't been able to track them down exactly where they're at, but that was just
Want to frame them, put them in your game room?
Yeah, I would love to if I could actually find them or if she could find them. But it was just kind of that picture-esque, collector moment. 1989. It's pretty sweet.
Nice. A lot of games too. I never got that many games with the system. Lucky.
Sorry. My birthday is shortly after Christmas, so it's an opportunity for them to just knock it all out at once, which is still the case.
Yeah, I have that problem too because December birthday, I would always get like the joint gifts, especially from lazy friend relatives like uncles and stuff. Like here's this $10 thing that covers both. It's
really hard to have a birthday, when Jesus has
a
month. Kind of overshadows everything.
Yeah. Well, my parents were even cheaper with the Game Boy. I asked for a Game Boy and I ended up with a game.com. So I was still excited about that at the time.
Yeah.
It was, although the screen was not color, it had a lot of other things that made it seem like it was a lot like really high tech.
Well, it was a PDA.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like what's this 12-year-old going to do? Putting all his friends into an address book.
So did they buy the clearance bundle off of Toys R Us with all the games and stuff?
I think I had 2 or 3 games.
Okay.
I think came with Lights Out, I think. I think I had O. Henry and maybe Wheel of Fortune, I want to say. But yeah, it was not what I wanted, but at the same time I was pretty excited about it at the time. Quickly overshadowed once Game Boy Color came out. And then it was, maybe the color was out by then. Maybe that's what I was asking for.
I think it was.
Yeah, because it would be the advanced that would be out pretty soon after that, I'm guessing. But yeah, it was, in retrospect, it was like, oh, you just got that because it was cheaper, probably. But.
Or somebody at Toys R Us really was trying to sell that thing and hyping him up. No, this is. Have you seen the commercials? There was a midget. He was screaming at me.
Yeah, he made fun of everybody that wanted it. Yeah.
It's actually in the back break room. There's a sign that's like, "Hey, $20 if anybody can sell these things. We're down on numbers. Everyone, got to get rid of this stuff."
That's funny because my next question for the group was going to be the most disappointing gaming item you got at Christmas, and I think you just hit them both with your one. I don't know. Was there a more disappointing get than the game.com?
No, I would ask for gaming stuff all the time, and I'd end up getting the Tiger handhelds anyway.
Sure.
Yep.
Which was still a lot of fun with them, but they weren't a Game Boy,
Yeah.
I did. I mean, my Sega, when I got my Sega, that was definitely the Christmas morning. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted type thing. So,
yeah, I can imagine. I'm trying to think like what the worst game I got around the holidays was, which probably wasn't like me instantly realizing it was bad. It was probably just like the realization upon playing it. But my parents weren't very generous with the games, as we've learned. I think maybe like the most disappointing one, and it's not even a bad game, is that I got that Super Nintendo Power Rangers game, and like, which I think is a good game. But like all the ads kind of like, and you assumed, it was it Capcom, right? Or Konami? I don't know. But like all the ads made it seem like it was a 2-player game and all that. So I was like super excited. Just gonna pop it in, play with my buddy. And then like I unwrapped this thing. Because back then you didn't get to like pick up games. They were behind a glass wall, obviously at the stores. So I had no idea. I'd never seen the back of the box.
Or in a catalog, like you said.
Or in the catalog. And yeah, like the realization that like, oh, cool, a multi-stage beat 'em up around like the hottest property right now, and it's 1 player. Like, come on, guys, you couldn't have added like a 2-player. And there was like a quote unquote 2-player option once you beat the game where you could punch in codes to unlock the Zord versus whatever monster, and you could sort of have a really shitty beat 'em up. But yeah, that was probably the biggest letdown for me. It was still a good game, I guess.
I think the biggest disappointment for me would be an NES game, and it was Super Glove Ball that I got. It was a game that I just didn't understand at the time. I mean, I probably don't quite understand it now, but it must have been on clearance. It was probably, I don't know, early 90s when I got that.
Did you get the Power Glove with it? No,
I never had a Power Glove as a kid. And so that was also very confusing. So you're trying to play this game with the D-pad, and I don't know, and just not understanding the concept of the game. And so you put it in for a while and you're like, what am I supposed to do here?
Breakout, man.
Well, yeah, but it's just, I don't know. It was weird.
It's not good. I'll second that.
Yeah. So I think my brother and I were just excited because our parents were close by. Like, this is cool. And then as soon as they left, we took it out and put Super Mario Brothers 3 in or something like that.
Sounds right.
That's kind of funny because, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I only remember ever getting 1 game for Christmas. And it was Animal Crossing. And that was a long time after they stopped even buying me gaming stuff.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, so I was pretty impressed. I'm guessing that was a pretty cheap clearance item where they're like, oh, you might like this, and just gave it to me. Because I wasn't asking for it. I didn't know much about it, even at that time. But it's probably because of all of those cheap things that every year I'm like, I want the new thing. I want the new thing. I want the new thing every single year, because it's like all I get is the Aladdin handheld to hold me over for a year. It's like, well,
yeah.
If I would have just got a Game Boy, I could just get the cheaper games every year. It would have been better in the long run. But
I feel like my parents never grasped that concept of like, once you get a console or a system for the kid, is like the importance is continuing to get them game. Because like I think back to like how many consoles I had, and I almost had no library in any of those systems. Like I just never, when I was a kid, so I wasn't really buying them. Or if I was, I mean, the most games I had was the Atari, and that was mostly just because I'd get like $10 for my allowance, and I'd find like some sucker on the playground, like sell me his brother's Atari games for $1 a piece, because they were worthless back then. But
they're worthless now.
Yeah, that's true. I bet I only ever had 10 games total for my Super Nintendo, and that was probably like my biggest collection. My Game Boy, I probably had about the same, but I probably bought half of those myself as I got older.
Yeah, I think it was the same way for me.
Yeah. Wasn't until the PlayStation era and I was a teenager and like had jobs and stuff that I actually got more games for stuff. Which
I think
one of my best Christmases. I got Metal Gear Solid. Great.
Wow.
I think one of the best Christmases I've watched, which is on YouTube, is that Tyler from My Retro Life, and just the sheer amount of games that kid got for Christmas. I mean,
well, then
we've talked about his channel
and opened with him.
Right. We've already talked about his channel before, how cool it is that his dad filmed everything as a kid, every game that he ever got. And he was definitely ahead of his time. And so I just think I've watched a couple of his videos and they pop up on my feed sometimes. I'm like, holy crap. Like, that kid got a ton. He's the guy that you're like, I got to be friends with this guy because he's got a ton of games.
Yeah. I like, there's always those couple episodes too where he references like his parents splitting up and you're like, oh, I understand how that could have happened. With his dad being like so into the games. It's like, yeah, I can see. Maybe.
That's just crazy. I didn't know anybody like that though, growing up. I didn't know anybody that was like just scoring 10 games at a time or anything like that. So,
well, and in the Midwest too, it's like the stuff like we don't. Well, I guess you lived in Chicago for a while growing up, but like for us, like you wouldn't see half of those. Like I don't even know if people were aware of most of that. Like the kid's dad's like importing everything, and
yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, I never knew anybody that got that much crap.
No,
lucky.
Yeah. I just feel like the NES had such a long life, and maybe that's just in my head. I remember many birthdays and Christmases to the mid 90s at least that I was getting, get a game here or get a game there. And I don't know. I just feel like the Super Nintendo was out and I never was really interested in it. And I was content with my NES. And so
I always liked playing NES, even well after the Super Nintendo was out, but
yeah,
I never had the console, so I was like all on board with the Super. But yeah, I mean, what games came out for the NES until 92? I mean, they were certainly selling them in stores until much later than that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we rented a lot too, though. So like,
yeah,
I think that probably made up, that probably got in my parents' head that that's the function of the console was like you buy the console and you just rent too.
Like
so it's like, yeah, right. How many people? I mean, like, I don't think we had many VHS tapes when I was younger either, but
yeah, same. We would go rent something. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I kind of forget about the rental aspect. Although that was such a huge thing.
So now that we're grown up and we have Game Pass.
We're grown up?
No, well, I mean, physically.
Oh.
Mentally still very young. So is it wrong for a parent to say, hey, I'm going to get you a game on Christmas and just download one on Game Pass for them?
That's morally questionable. I don't know what you tell them once.
Does that make you a crappy parent?
You're like, I deleted it because you're a horrible child. Secretly, it just got removed from Game Pass.
Right.
It's funny.
Oh, you want that game? My son doesn't understand the concept that, you pay for the service. And so he's like, oh, you're downloading this? Oh, sweet. I'm like,
it ain't going to last.
It's the little things that bring you joy.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the best Christmas themed video game?
Oh. We've played some of these, but or Buy Rent Burns.
I might go with Die Hard Arcade because technically Die Hard's a Christmas movie. And that's a good beat 'em up.
I feel like we had like a Lemmings or something like that.
Christmas Lemmings? Yes, there was, I think. Let me double check.
for whatever reason, and it was, I think it was just a
what would that have been?
one episode
on?
or
Like Sega?
no, just PC.
Yeah,
Oh, PC.
Yep,
Yeah.
Holiday Lemmings on DOS. Yep, you're right.
Oh, geez.
It's just a skinned version of that's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
I can't think of one.
Elf Bowling, like back in the Flash
Oh.
days, like not the Game Boy ones that we played that were
Right.
terrible. Like back in the
Those
Flash
were bad.
days, those were pretty good time wasters.
Oh, those
Played a
were
lot of
so
those.
bad. Brought
still
me
haven't-
back to that crappy one.
We
There's that
still need to
Nightmare
watch
Before-
that movie.
Oh gosh, I can't believe there's a movie. There's that Nightmare Before Christmas game on the Xbox. I think it's not supposed to be too terrible, but I have never played it yet. I owned it and was excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Is it
Any-
what it is? Nightmare Before Christmas. What is it more, Halloween or Christmas?
Or Thanksgiving. I don't know. It's a weird in betweener. I mean, I guess it's more. I don't know. They spend a good. It's like half and half. Well, they get into the Christmas stuff pretty early on. I don't know. You could go either way, I guess. I feel
Never
like
seen it.
it's like one.
If it's not RV in
it's
theaters,
like
I've
one of
never
the
seen it.
greatest animated movies. It's so good. You need to watch it. It's streamable.
Is
I
Robin
think.
Williams in it?
No.
Is there an RV in it?
Yes.
Oh, then I might be interested.
It's great. It's a great movie. Makes me sad that you've never seen this. It came out like that's the weird thing is like I feel like it came out. It probably came out in time for Halloween, right? But like I remember watching it like on Thanksgiving break in theaters as a kid. It was like a really weird in between. But anyway, I'll go.
Yeah, I
with
didn't see
Christmas
it
Game.
till. Yeah, it's probably more Christmas.
Has anybody played that like awful like Wii and 3DS Christmas like classics game that they cashed in on all those claymation ones? It's got like the Rudolph.
No.
Oh no! Yeah,
I think it's just a bunch of mini games. I think it's supposed to be just terrible.
probably that's probably why you can still buy it like brand new at Walmart. That Rudolph one.
Yeah, what was that one? I just remember it being on the Wii like really late in the Rudolph Wii. Yeah, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. $5 on eBay, fellas.
Wow.
$5.
Click buy now. Do it.
Ah, man, I love those. I love those old claymation ones, but like some of the stuff you watch that and you're like, I can't believe this got made because like Rudolph's dad pretty much like beats him and tells him he's a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
you're a freak. I hate you, and slaps him around. It's just like how was this a kid's thing that you put on television? And even Santa's
It's really a
dick to him.
story.
Yeah.
It's really a story of overcoming.
I mean, it's probably
Just
more a
being
story
tenacious.
of forgiveness because like everyone basically like assaulted this child mentally and physically, and then like he's a hero and he's like, yeah, I love all you guys. You weren't complete pieces of shit the entire time I've known you. We're friends now. Forgiveness.
Have you ever thought about writing like kids books?
Yeah, maybe I could.
I haven't seen that one in a very long time.
Mm. I have the collection on Blu-ray. We watch them usually about this time every year.
Do they look any better on Blu-ray?
Not
Or do they
really.
still have that?
They're cleaned up a bit, but they're still kind of wonky.
Yeah. Huh. Charlie Brown one's pretty good though.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yep.
With the sad little tree.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a classic.
Do you remember like there was like a solid period there where they were making like every Saturday morning or like afternoon cartoon? They had like a Christmas special that they do for Christmas. And like some of them became like, oh, we'd have this every year. And then some of them were like, that's only playing once because that was awful and it's gone forever. And I feel like there's a lot of those out there.
Like Star Wars Christmas.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad. But I think even like there was Garfield ones and there was a whole bunch of like those style.
Smurfs
like-
definitely had one.
Yeah. But if you dug deep, you could find some really surprising ones there and be like, oh, they tried to make that a thing and it wasn't.
Yeah, I feel like nobody does the holiday special anymore. Like that's a dead thing. We're just kind of sticks to the classics. Elf might be the last true holiday or like Christmas success that's kind of like ingrained in mainstream.
Yeah.
It's a great movie too. Nate's never seen it because it doesn't have an RV, but it's good.
So, does it have Robin Williams in it?
No.
I've never seen it.
No. Yeah. Hallmark, I guess, kind of. I guess you could just call Hallmark the terrible Christmas special movie network. Is pretty much all it is.
That's all that's been on in my house.
Those are all so bad.
So bad. My wife is tearing up and just loving them all, but not this guy.
My wife was watching the one. I don't know, even I walked in late. Anyway, the girl, it was kind of like a Cinderella thing, and stepmom and the stepdaughters, and they're all like redheads, and my wife is too. I was like, see, they're evil. Like, that's, you gingers have no souls. I'm like, this wouldn't have happened if her dad hadn't married a redhead. Like, I'll avoid it. So I basically just kept it at that for like 10 minutes, ruining the end of this movie for my wife, because I don't know. I'm a terrible human being, and that's my joy. So, Hallmark, they worked out. It had a happy ending. All was good.
They all do on Hallmark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, somebody should do that at Hallmark one of these years. Just like the twist, like,
oh my gosh, the
I
end.
Love you,
oh my gosh,
I'm dying of cancer, or just black screen.
Oh
Like
my
Tim died of
gosh.
cancer 2 weeks later. True love was never realized.
Well,
Merry Christmas.
They are making that KFC movie. Have you seen that?
No.
Like Hallmark is putting out the Colonel Sanders story.
What?
Starring Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders.
Mario
Stop.
Lopez?
Yes.
Do they know what Colonel Sanders looked like?
I'm sure it's like all a huge joke or something like that. But
probably just to sell those KFC scented like Yule logs that they sell this time of year.
So gross.
It's amazing. What's your favorite Christmas movie then? Since we're out of game stuff, like favorite or holiday
Home Alone.
special. Oh, really? Home Alone?
Home Alone all day.
I don't even consider that a holiday movie.
Oh,
I mean,
how can you not?
Well, it is, but like, because he didn't have Christmas. He was home alone.
He still had Christmas.
Again, another holiday classic where everyone in that kid's life is a horrible monster, treats him like shit, and then he forgives everybody. Like, hey, my brother hates me and won't let me touch his baseball cards. Like, no, it's all good. Again,
I watched a YouTube video last week, and it was a conspiracy theorist on Home Alone. And oh man, it was so twisted. It was like Kevin McAllister's dad worked for the mob, and this is why. And I was just like, oh man, it's so messed up and dark and twisted, and it was good.
I've heard the one where they're like, because obviously the torture that those bandits go through, that they would be dead, that it never really happened. So this was all like a dream or something.
Oh yeah.
Or just in his mind.
I also heard that Kevin McAllister liked torturing people so much that he became the guy on Saw.
Nice. I can see that.
That was also one of the conspiracy theorists. He changed his name, and he was the Saw guy.
It's funny when you talk about Home Alone, because like I'd been watching it's Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, another Christmas movie, I guess, was on. And like, I'm watching that, and you're watching, they got John Candy and Steve Martin. And then like, you're kind of watching it. I just never put it together as a kid, but like, the old time rockabilly music's happening. And at the end, they show up at the house, and it's the big traditional, like giant brick, American Dream house, just like you see in Home Alone. I was like this all plays like way too familiar. So look, and like I'd never put it together, but yeah, these are all like John Hughes movies. It's like John Hughes did that. John Hughes did Uncle Buck. John Hughes did Home Alone. And like all of those like carry that tone, even you think about Kevin singing in the house, like listening to oldies music, and it's the same thing. I don't know why I just never realized it, but Very similar style movies.
That's my jam.
And what's his name's in all of them? John Candy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He's the
Forgot about that.
Polka King.
Polka King. That's right.
Polka King of the Midwest.
Yeah.
From Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yep. That's a good one. I mean, it's a classic.
Yeah.
I'm one of those weird people that I like 2 better.
Really?
Yeah. I think the setting of New York and the premise of a kid just killing around New York is great.
It gets into the traps. There's more traps in the second one.
Yeah.
People forget how long it takes in the first one to get to that stuff.
When you watch them like in order right away, one after the other, they almost come across as the identical movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's not much different here. Even like some of the traps and everything. It's just, oh, I know this guy's going to get shot in the dong.
Yeah. The only real difference is you can tell like very heavily in the second one that Macaulay Culkin's fee for doing that movie shot up substantially because like every ancillary character in his family has like 0 airtime. There's like that one shot in the hotel in Florida. Other than that, nobody's talking.
Nope.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that one's a lot more like both of those movies are kind of terrifying if you're a child, though. Especially the creepy shovel man. Like he might almost be more terrifying than the robbers in most cases. I mean, he turns out to be the good guy, right? But
there's some good conspiracies on him too.
Yeah,
you'll have to find that video. It's messed up.
Yes. How about yours, Andy? What's your favorite holiday? Christmas,
I was trying to think about that, and like if there's one that I would want to put on just for fun, it'd probably be Elf, just because I think it's still hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of those older ones just don't hold up, and they're just like, it's feel good stuff,
right? Yeah,
like
also a good one.
My wife turned on the Santa Claus the other day, and I was like, oh, those are okay, but they show their age now.
I feel like Tim Allen stuff, even Tool, like not Home Improvement, everybody calls it Tool Time. I feel like that his 90s stuff just does not hold up, and how they've allowed him to just continue doing it with Last Man Standing blows my mind. It's just like,
yeah,
they let him make the same show. Why did we have to bring him back? It's different. He's got 3 daughters, not 3 boys.
Yeah.
He doesn't have Tool Time. He's got a web vlog. It's totally different. It's not the same thing at all. I forgot about that movie. Gosh, that was a huge movie, Santa Claus. Wasn't that one like Tim Allen had the number 1 movie, the number 1 show, and the number 1 book in the country all at the same time?
Jeez.
He was killing it that year. I had a crush on that elf girl. Hardcore.
In that movie?
Yeah, Santa Claus, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Little elf, that lady that's like however many 100 years old she says she is.
She's the hot cocoa girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can bring me hot cocoa anytime.
Oh my gosh.
Also the chicken elf, what's her name from New Girl?
Yeah.
Isn't bad looking either. I think
Dashane or Zoe Deschanel or
something. Yeah, I think mine's got to be Christmas Story. I love Christmas Story. I can watch Christmas Story all day long. I feel
because that's your personality, though.
It's just so good. Yeah, I like the old timey and like the randomness of some of like the flashbacks and. You can't make a movie like that anymore.
No. You just got to watch TBS on Christmas Day.
I know.
24 hours of Christmas Story.
I have the Blu-ray. So good. And just the dad, too. Santa bitches, bumpuses. Just always cussing, and it's great.
Everybody goes back to the lamp there, and it's like, I get it, but it just was not that funny to me.
No, I mean, like, yeah, it's like a chuckle, but yeah, there's a lot better like points of reference, I think. Like the triple dog dare and the bunny outfit. Ovaltine.
Yep.
Just that brother too kills me. Like that kid.
That redheaded kid is scary.
Oh, Farkas.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in Titus. He was the brother in that Titus TV show.
Oh, man. Whoa, I got hit with that. I didn't remember that at all. Till now.
His beady little eyes, yellow eyes. So help me God. He had yellow eyes. Yeah, it was great. And that's one of those movies too, where it's like I've seen it so many times I could pretty much just rehearse it in my head. So I don't know why I continue watching it, but yeah, those are all good. Man, we just need to do a movie marathon now. Watch all three of those. Nate will have quadrupled his movie viewing background.
Yeah. Does Robin Williams have a Christmas movie?
No, he's got to.
If he was in an RV, I guess.
Let's look. He's got to have a Christmas movie.
A Merry Frickin' Christmas with Joel McHale and Robin Williams.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah, apparently. No. 2014, yeah.
Oh, but that's not good, Robin Williams. We had to look.
I don't know any.
There's got to be something that was loosely Christmas that doesn't suck, right?
Oh, I mean, was Mrs. Doubtfire around Christmas?
No. Well, I don't know. There's the birthday scene, I remember. Yeah, you're right. There is a Merry Freaking... Yeah. God, I feel like there's going to be something older, though.
What year was RV
Feet was
released?
kind of Christmassy, right?
Happy Feet?
Yeah, he plays that like feisty Puerto Rican gay penguin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's weird that he's not in more.
RV, is that a Christmas movie?
It is to me.
The big
it's
white,
the gift that keeps on giving.
From 2005. What's the big white? Anybody seen that?
I don't know. Sounds racist to me.
It does. Sounds like my.
Oh man, I just
oh no,
just remembered one of my first dates was at Fred Claus. We went to that, and I couldn't stand that movie.
Was that what's his name?
Vince Vaughn.
Yes, Vince Vaughn. Yes, Vince Vaughn is in so many holiday movies. It's ridiculous. He's in like 4 Christmases. He's in. There's a bunch. He sucks.
Yeah, I can't stand that guy.
The Birdcage, was that a Christmas movie? He was in Spinal Tap?
Really?
It says, yeah.
Wow. Huh.
I don't know what part. I mean, he was in Hook. Can we just call it a Christmas movie? Because it's amazing.
Yeah. That wins.
Yep.
You could watch it around. Actually, no.
Bangering.
Hook is around Christmas.
Yeah, you're right. They go back to sea.
Yes.
Yep.
They go to London for Christmas.
Yes, you are correct. It's a Christmas movie. Robin Williams.
Boom. Hook.
Nailed
done.
It.
Just like Die Hard.
Bangering.
Yep.
We just brought this full circle, boys.
Nailed it. Probably time to wrap it up because I don't even know what the hell happened with this episode.
No. Hey, but we appreciate you guys listening to this train wreck. I don't know. That was a little strong. It was very strong. Yeah. We appreciate you guys. Send us what movies you like on around Christmas and video games and stuff like that. You can send that email to weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Grindr, Snapchat.
I don't have those
Tinder.
things.
Oh, okay. Well, just follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And as always, friends, be kind. Rewind.
You'll shoot your eye out. Hello and welcome everyone to Weekend Rental episode 89. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. As always, my name is Ryan and I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And Nate.
Feliz Navidad.
Very festive, very festive. If you enjoy our content, you can find a bunch of other great geeky related content, podcasts, articles, and more over at geekade.com. What's your geek? It is almost that time, isn't it?
I was feeling festive.
I like
it. I experienced some Taco John's today and enjoyed a Nachos Navidad.
Oh man.
Nice.
Yeah, you probably need to explain that to, listeners that are not from this area that don't have Taco
I
John's.
think they just need to close their eyes and picture.
Wait,
just
Taco John's isn't national?
No, I think it's
what?
Yeah, it's somewhat local.
Oh.
I've seen some in like Nebraska.